I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving into practical strategies for transforming your health and happiness. We're talking to a sensational author about this topic. Her name is Barbara Palmer, and she has penned a powerful book. It is called Healthy, Happy, Whole, a Health and Wellbeing Workbook. This comprehensive guide takes readers through 12 essential steps to improve their mind-body connection, manage stress, and boost their overall well-being. If you're looking for actionable steps to achieve a healthier, happier, and more balanced life, this workbook is the perfect starting point. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Pro Isle Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Barbara, thanks so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start out by asking the importance of setting SMART goals, as you call them, that are essential for improving health and happiness.
Well, the importance of SMART goals, you want something that is, it's an acronym for being specific. You also want something that's measurable. You want something that's achievable, and also it needs to be something that's relative. It needs to be something that really has meaning to you. And it needs to have a timestamp on it, so it helps you to be accountable to yourself.
Great practical advice that these goals that you set basically have to be realistic. They have to be attainable, and they can't be something that you're going to do someday.
Right.
The someday is now. And most of our goals can be achieved within a day or two, a week, a year, depending on the complexity of the goal. But I think that's great advice for improving one's health and happiness. Tell us why you put this in workbook form and what some of the exercises are in the book.
Well, I put it in workbook form because from my experience in working with people, and also I think it's part of my background. I am an occupational therapist over 40 years, and we use activities to really help a person to learn, to grasp something when they're making a change. So it's engaging both sides of the brain. And it also is helping them to make some decisions and document them as they go, without having to do a lot of writing, but where they're actually engaging that mind-body connection to support them as they are making changes and as they learn.
Stress management plays a big role in your book. What are some effective techniques you recommend?
Well, when it comes to stress management, the main thing that I help people understand is stress itself is a perception. So the biggest thing that we can do is to change our perception or our approach to how we label things, the stories that we tell. Many times we are scaring ourselves and working ourselves up.
Right.
Or the Bible even calls it fretting, so we fret ourselves. And so that's one of the things about stress, is to realize that the biggest change you can make is in how you look at things. And maybe you can even ask yourself, is this as bad as I'm making this out to be? Is there some good in this? If there's some good in this, wanting to find it, wanting to see the good that's in a situation can help to shift how you feel about it.
I think it's a very, very powerful tool. I often use the analogy of a doctor in an emergency room. A patient comes in and he's shot multiple times. The doctor doesn't say, "Oh my God, he's bleeding. What do I do? Do I go work on the brain? Do I work on the liver? Where do I start? Oh no." A doctor calmly assesses the situation, realizes what is in her or his control, and then begins a course of action to remedy the situation in front of him,
Yes.
or her.
Yes.
So I think that's a powerful way to look at it. Two people can be in identical situations. One could be completely stressed and the
Yeah.
other person relaxed. You really basically have to tell yourself, you got this. I mean,
Yes.
don't fool
Yes.
yourself, be prepared. But
Yes.
once you've prepared, tell yourself you got this, right?
Yes. And actually, even just saying that I've got this, or even within yourself, just having a positive mindset about something, there has to be a solution. That's another thing you can say is, if a problem presents itself, there has to be a solution. Any problem that presents itself has a solution. So it's just reminding yourself of those things, and just allowing yourself, like you said, to be able to tap into the creative side of our thinking, our mind. Another thing I recommend is breathing. Is just, taking a deep breath, a nice deep cleansing breath. And it's like allow your mind to slow down. And you can do that a few times, and you can do that anywhere, you know?
Exactly, exactly. The breathing is important. You don't even realize when you're stressed that you're doing a lot of shallow breathing, or
Yes.
maybe even holding your breath with anxiety and tension. So
Yeah.
breathing is very, very key, very, very essential as well. What about dealing with negative emotions like depression? What advice would you have?
Well, the thing about negative emotions is, well, all emotions, uh, they are connected to something that we have been thinking about. So it's not like it came out of the blue. Usually it's something that we're focused on. So one of the things is to actually, I recommend that people, it's like make a list of things, or have a journal, write about the things that, as far as your favorite things, favorite memories, and even just the writing, the engaging of, and even writing about the feelings is, it's like, what were you thinking about before you started feeling like this? And it helps to recognize that thoughts lead to emotions. Emotions don't just, you know,
They don't
happen.
just appear. There's more to the story there. There's a backstory. So you got to
Yeah,
kind of figure out what that backstory is. And
right.
are you depressed? Is there a reason? Is it just chemical? Or maybe there's a reason why you feel sad right now,
Yes,
and I think that's true. And it goes along with the whole practical steps of this whole book is that, set goals you can achieve, examine your emotions in a realistic way. I think it's very, very important. Basically, be honest with yourself.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Let's talk a
And,
little bit about assertiveness. In the
yeah.
book, you write that it's an important skill in achieving overall well-being. How can readers develop it, and why do you think it's so important to be assertive?
Well, it's important to be assertive, because it's the only form of communication or type of communication where you are being authentic, you're being honest, and it's like it's where you're looking for a win-win. It's like it's not about things have to go your way or the highway. And it's not about always bowing to the other person. It's like whatever somebody else wants, you want to make them happy. It's where you are willing to own how you feel, and what it is that you have to say, and you say it in a way where it's not accusatory. It's owning that, I feel this way, I want. But it's like you normally communicate with I statements instead of you. It's like, and because of you, you're not looking, it's not about blaming, it's about taking ownership and responsibility. And that's why it's so important. Because flipping it the other way, blaming someone, pointing fingers, feeling like a victim, none of that stuff serves us. None of it.
Hard to do sometimes to be assertive and explain how you feel in a conflict without getting overcharged, without getting
Yes.
overheated, without getting angry. So that is something you almost need to practice, like you
Yes.
said, with those I statements, because if you're an emotional person and somebody has infringed on your rights or hurt you, you feel like lashing out on some level. And
Yeah.
that's normal and understandable, but it's not going to really benefit the situation.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And actually, I mentioned journaling a lot because, and even in a situation like what you just mentioned, to actually write out and visualize what the conversation might go like. It's like you can actually anticipate, you know, possibly being triggered and how you would handle that instead of allowing yourself to be triggered. And the fact that you visualize or you imagine something beforehand or write it out in terms of what you would do, what you think they might say, and whatever, it helps you to actually feel more calm and to be more grounded and more prepared for tough conversations.
Absolutely. And I also think keeping those conversations to conversations as opposed to texting or email is a good idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because in
Yes.
texting, people tend to like have no guard at all. But if you're
Yeah,
looking at the person, you're talking to the person, it's going to be
right.
more realistic. W- Before we leave you today, I just want to ask you, what's your hope for this book? How do you hope it empowers people and helps people?
Well, I hope it helps people to have a better understanding of how the mind-body connection works and how their thinking and as well as their habits, their behaviors are affecting not only their physical health, but their mental health, their emotional health, how whether they have a good social support system, how that plays a part in their overall well-being. And and ultimately taking responsibility. This is, each of us, we have a body, we have a mind. I remind people your mind is not you, your body is not you. However, uh, it's like as a soul that is having a human experience, we are responsible, for how we take care of our minds and our bodies. And we're certainly capable of doing it. And sometimes we just need to be reminded.
Absolutely. And this book is a great reminder. It is called Healthy, Happy, Whole, a Health and Wellbeing Workbook. It is a comprehensive guide that takes readers through 12 essential steps to improve their mind-body connection, manage stress, and boost overall well-being. Barbara, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate your time. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.